Imagine waking up one day to find yourself in a dark forest. Huge oak trees surround you for as long as you can see, which isn't far to begin with. Never mind how you got there, it's just your imagination after all. It's eerily quiet, almost no sound except for the sound of your panicked breath and loud heartbeat. You almost feel like you're being too loud, like it can hear you and it'll come for you. But that's crazy. There's no one or nothing around for miles. Unless, do you hear something? What about right now? Right behind you. Even if you were in this unfortunate situation and you did in fact hear something, you probably wouldn't make it out to tell the tale, especially if that thing is a Wendigo. A creature which is said to have originated from the folklore of the First Nations based in and around the forests of Canada. It is said to be an evil spirit, but is also often depicted as a creature with human-like features. You must have heard all about a Wendigo on one of Sam and Dean's hunting trips or on Blackwood Mountain in Until Dawn. And while there are many such references to Wendigo in popular culture, what they all have in common is how powerful they show them to be. According to legend, it's nearly impossible to escape a Wendigo if you ever encounter one. They are said to be hunters by nature, which means that they are extremely fast and always ravenous. The good news is though, they sleep for most of the year and sometimes even years at a time. This might explain why they are so starved after waking up. Wendigos stop at nothing to get their prey. They have supernatural strength, such as controlling animals and creating ice storms, and can even get inside your mind, destroying you from within. They are known to mimic human cries and noises as well to further play with your emotions and bait you into walking straight to them. If that's not all, they can even open doors. This might not seem like much when you're thinking of an ice storm that a Wendigo created, but imagine the absolute fear of seeing your door open and on the other side a towering human-like creature after your flesh ready to pounce. You aren't completely screwed if you find one though. There have been instances of people coming across and even surviving Wendigos. The following are the stories of these anonymous survivors. Hi everyone. I was talking to some friends the other day and they felt it was an interesting enough tale to tell the rest of the world. I don't want any connection to it though because of my own superstitions, and so I will be doing this anonymously. For some background, I live in a really small town near Ottawa, basically in the woods. Not inside, but close enough that I am quite familiar with them. What's weird is that this has never happened before. I was walking there today listening to music when I felt like I could hear somebody call my name, which is definitely weird, and I am paranoid enough of a person to know that I should not go around looking for things like this. But I also grew up in these woods, and I wasn't particularly scared, so I continued walking. Then I felt like I could hear somebody say, "Come here." This is when I completely freaked out, for many reasons. 1, it wasn't in English. 2, it sounded further away, and legend says that when Wendigos are closer to you, they sound further away. And 3, it was my own damn voice. Ran right back home and stayed inside the whole week. I'm super freaked out and I don't know what to believe. I haven't told anyone. I feel like they'll somehow judge me and think I'm crazy. I was walking in the woods near my house yesterday around nighttime, and as I started going back home, I heard this woman screaming. Except it didn't sound like she was scared or anything. She sounded furious. I do not have the strength or any sort of ability to defend myself, so I didn't want anything to do with this. I started walking away fast, but I was frantically looking around to see if I could see something or someone. The sound was very close by, so she could have been almost right behind me. At first, while looking around, I thought I saw this deer, except it didn't really look completely like a deer. It had the legs of a deer, I guess. It was quite skinny and small, and its body was huge, along with its arms. I couldn't really see much of it because, as I said, I was trying to run out of there and I wasn't really dying to feast my eyes on it, and I thought I was genuinely done for. I know Wendigos have supernatural speed, and I'm confused about how I even made it out alive. I might have figured that out as I got home though, because my grandmother told me that the further away a Wendigo is, the closer it sounds. Hey everyone, I have a pretty old story, but I swear my memory is very intact. You don't forget things like this. I was still a child when this happened, and I'm 46 now. My cousin had come to visit us. She doesn't live in a small town, and so my mom wanted her to get the whole experience. She asked me to take her to see my horses, which I did. She loved them and eventually even became pretty good at riding. So this one day, we decided to go out a little further than we usually did. She obviously wasn't as intuitive with them as I was, so she probably didn't notice, but for some reason it seemed like they were kind of hesitant to go that day. Anyway, we were on our way to the lake and her horse just all of a sudden stopped. It refused to go any further. We didn't really understand what was happening, and maybe if a grown-up was there, they would have got that a horse not really wanting to do something means that we should probably just turn around and go back. But we got distracted by something and ended up walking around nearby the horses. At this point, I heard a scream. I could tell by the look on her face that she heard it too. A few seconds later, another scream, and this time it was followed by a panicked voice. I couldn't make out what they were trying to say, but for some reason I felt that it sounded familiar. I was completely freaking out though, and we were trying desperately to get on our horses, which wasn't easy because of how tiny we were and how spooked the horses were. Halfway through this nightmare, an ungodly foul stench hit my nose. I didn't dare turn around to see what it was, but I heard the voice one more time, and this time I could tell who it was. Me. I was begging for us to save myself, to help me get unstuck or something. The ride home was fast and terrifying. That's all I can say about that. Like many folk stories that we often hear about, a Wendigo can be connected to actual human phenomena and feelings. It is said to invoke feelings of insane hunger and greed, often so strong that you feel the compulsion to kill, or even worse, eat another human being. This is how the name of the psychological term Wendigo psychosis was born. Wendigo psychosis is described as a disorder specific to the people of the northern tribes of the Algonquian-speaking Indians. This disorder is marked by the desire to eat human flesh, a desire to do something which is ordinarily extremely repugnant and horrifying to those people, but a desire which was gratified by more than half of the individuals whose cases have been reported. While the specific reasons why such a desire can take over a human being and its connection to psychology will take too long to delve into, what can be said is that it's not that hard to imagine how being trapped in wilderness in blistering cold with no food for days can drive a person mad. So, the next time you decide to take a little camping trip, maybe you want to rethink your destination, unless ending up as food is on the itinerary. Thank you for watching, and let me know if there's a topic that you want me to talk about. And don't forget to like and subscribe.